Come on, defense. Come on, defense. It's time to get revved up again. The playoffs are near. Home field advantage, it's in sight. It's time to wake up because the playoffs, the postseason, they are nearly upon us. Philly 500 is here. I am Adrian Fedque. So we did a show about a month ago asking you guys, who are you scared of in the NFC? That's his quarterback. Now Nicky Foles is leading the franchise. So we revisit the question again. Philly 500 is here. I am Adrian Fedque. Who are we scared of?
Who are we scared of? That is the big question, right? But here's what I'll say. The teams with the better quarterback, like a Drew Brees, if a Russell Wilson was a get-in, to me, those would be your biggest threats. But I still believe that home field for the Eagles would give the Eagles an advantage of pretty much everybody. And because of that home field, I'm not scared really of anybody in the NFC. But there are some teams that would be a problem.
Yeah. All right, so last week when Carson Wentz went down, I said 25% chance to reach the Super Bowl. Well, you know what happened this weekend? Do you know what happened? Seattle, they lost. They lost. They got spanked.
Man, they got beaten.
Seattle's the one team I don't want to play. That team, that franchise, for whatever reason, it just seems like we can't beat them. And not only can't we beat them, we get trounced by them. We get smoked by them. And they're going to be out, most likely, it looks like. So the Rams lay the whooping on them. And now all of a sudden, the Eagles aren't going to have to face them most likely. So that 4-5 seed, which I was like starting to get petrified, I'm like, oh, man, like this is our luck. Like Carson Wentz is out now. Now it's Nick Foles, and we're going to have to play Seattle in the divisional round. I was getting so mopey. And now I'm excited again. I'm happy again because now it's looking like you might get the Rams. You might get Carolina. You might get – well, New Orleans I don't want to play, but we'll get into that. And then Atlanta is the 6th seed. So all of a sudden Seattle's out of the picture. Green Bay officially knocked out. So there's hope for me again. I'm going from 25%. I'm raising it back up, baby. I'm going to 40. But this defense, it has to step up, and we'll get into that too.
Hey, look, I think you went and got a prostate exam too. I think you got a prostate exam.
If I got a prostate exam, we'd be up to 75%.
Well, maybe I got one because I'm raising mine from 40 to 65%.
Oh, damn!
The Eagles have a 65% chance to get to the Super Bowl. Now, let me explain this. When I say 65%, I'm putting it not just in the graph by themselves. I'm including New Orleans, the Rams, Minnesota. All those teams are part of this pie. And I think Eagles has 65% of that pie right now. I think getting that bye week, having Seattle be in a position where they look like they're going to get tossed, and then any chance that, as little as it was, of an Aaron Rodgers coming back is done, is to me only beneficial to the Eagles. There's only really one, maybe two teams that I think the Eagles have to be concerned about.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. So the one thing that I definitely think that needs to get corrected, well, not corrected, but schemed better, because it's kind of hard to correct covering tight ends and running backs when your linebackers stink without Jordan Hicks. It's hard. So because Kendricks, he's a liability in coverage. But the stats are this. So against the Giants, 20 receptions for 151 yards by their tight ends and running back. Against Seattle, it was 11 for 118. So this has been a problem in recent weeks. And a lot of these opponents that the Eagles are going to have to play in the playoffs, they have tight ends. They have running backs. Well, maybe not both, but one or the other. So you look at Minnesota, you got McKinnon and Rudolph. You got to combat with that. Rams, you're going to have Todd Gurley coming out of the backfield. New Orleans, you got to deal with Alvin Kamara. Oh, my God. Carolina, Greg Olsen, Christian McCaffrey. Atlanta, Devontae Freeman. So by no means is it going to be easy in those areas. So where the Eagles, I think, are going to get better, I would hope so. I would think that the cornerback play will be better, and we'll see what we saw earlier in the season, because I think in a lot of ways that Giants game, they needed that. They needed that. They needed that wake-up call because everybody was pissed. And now I'm hoping that defense is pissed and they take it out on Oakland on Christmas Day. But maybe that's the Kool-Aid drinker in me, hoping that that's what's going to happen.
Well, and it seems like teams are now going after the Eagles where they're like, we're not even going to try to run on this team anymore. The Eagles are too good against the run. We'll use a lot of short passes, a lot of passes to tight end, a lot of passes to the running back instead, and then we'll attack your secondary. And that's what they've been doing, and they've been killing the Eagles that way. And you're right. All those teams in the playoffs can do that effectively. So the Eagles are going to have to fix that. They're going to have to make some adjustments. Somewhere, somehow. And this Raiders game, I'm hoping to see something different because if we don't really see any improvements or any changes, we're not going to know anything. And this is going to be a concern until they play. We're talking about 2 weeks of wondering what the hell's going on when we're sitting on a bye week. So I'm really hoping to see a dramatic performance on Christmas that will make us feel a lot better about what we've seen. And it's been since that Seattle's game that this has been like this.
Yeah. And can I be honest? I'm not going to be what's the word? I'm not going to start feeling more comfortable until I see the defense in the divisional round. Because the reason why I say that, Oakland, they don't have any threats really at tight end or running back. They have Jared Cook, but So, and that Raiders offense just hasn't been there all season. Derek Carr just isn't Derek Carr this year. So it's not a great offense. So if they go and tee up on them, okay, great. But I want to see them do that against a legitimate offense with threats, and that's what we've been kind of struggling with recently. So like I was talking about Seattle and the Giants. So, but it looks like they're making adjustments, and I'm curious to see what they do because against Seattle, it was J.D. McKissick against Michael Kendricks. Well, they're not putting Kendricks in the slot anymore. It was Corey Graham on Sunday, but that was against the tight end. So what are they going to do when a Christian McCaffrey lines up in the slot or a Kamara? Who are they going to match up with? Is it going to be Corey Graham? Is it going to be Jenk? It's probably not going to be Kendricks because of the way he looked. So what we're seeing basically all nickel, and some of the safeties are kind of playing some linebacker.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'll tell you, man, the one matchup that does concern me is that Saints. With Kamara's ability out of the backfield, especially catch, and Breeze, as quick as he is to get rid of the ball, he gets rid of the ball so quick. You know what I mean? That combination scares the crap out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I think that Saints, who we might meet in the first round in the divisional round, that may be the toughest game we play. That may be tougher than the NFC Championship game itself. That New Orleans game. That is a matchup to be concerned about. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what they do. I really am. I really want to see what they do this week against the Raiders.
Yeah, and I'm complete 100% with you about the Saints, and it's looking like it might be the Saints in the divisional round. You look at the standings right now. So with the Rams beating the Seahawks, the Rams are now 10-4. They lead the NFC West. They also have the tiebreaker over New Orleans because they beat them. So the head-to-head tiebreaker, the Rams would be the 3 seed. And you look at the rest of their schedule at Tennessee and the Niners, I think the Rams win both of them. So it looks like the Eagles are probably going to face either the Saints, the Panthers, or maybe the Falcons, because the Falcons are at 9-5. We'll see if they slip up by the end of the year. Maybe one of those 6-loss teams gets in. But the Saints, I'm with you. I don't want to play them because of Kamara. I don't like the quick passing game with Drew Brees. I understand that they've become more run-oriented this season, but I do think in a playoff setting, they will try to throw the ball a lot. And like you were saying, with the short passing game, those are basically like runs. So I would think that they're probably going to view it like runs, or like runs through their passing game. So the Saints are definitely the one team I don't want to play. Drew Brees getting the ball quick.
Yeah, that's a scary team. And yeah, I think the way it's set up now, you figure let's say the Rams win their first round, they're the 3rd seed, and the Saints win their first round wild card matchup. they come to Philly. The Saints would come to Philly if the Eagles are the number 1 seed. The Rams would go to Minnesota. And yeah, that would be, to me, that would be the toughest opponent you possibly could play. And to me, I would probably feel like if you beat this New Orleans team, you're going to, I don't care who you play next week, you're going to win. That's kind of how I would feel looking into it, because I think they would be the toughest matchup. Carolina, I'm pretty comfortable playing again because we beat them in Carolina. I feel like we can beat them in Philly, I guess. Maybe that's overconfidence. I don't know. And as always, Minnesota is the team that I welcome. I welcome to Philly to play. I would love to play Minnesota. I think the Eagles would match up beautiful against them.
Yeah. Minnesota is definitely the team I want to play as well, man. I mean, the divisional round, you said it. That's going to be harder than the NFC Championship game, I think. Because I think Case Keenum in Philly, I think the defensive line would get to him. I really do. And it would be consistent, and he would make some mistakes. I think we win. So, yeah. And Nick Foles wouldn't have to do a lot. I mean, it's against a great defense, so he'll have to play well, but there you go. All right, so I'm looking at probably. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say. I'm sorry. I was just going to say that in picking that Minnesota Rams game, the Rams going there for the second time. I think I may take the Rams that game to win straight up. That's how comfortable I would be that I don't trust Casey Keenum in a playoff setting. So
yeah,
it is what it is. But we'll see.
I want to look at the Saints real quick. Because I want to look. Well, they get the ball out within 3 seconds, but they do have a solid offensive line. They do have Terron Armstead, their left tackle. He's a really talented, really athletic kid. Andrew Speed, their first rounder from last year, plays guard. Max Unger, their center. I believe he got in over Jason Kelce yesterday in terms of the Pro Bowl. Maybe I'll do an individual video on that because Jason Kelce got snubbed. Brandon Graham got snubbed.
I thought Brandon Graham got. I thought both those guys you could make a case for, but I wasn't surprised that they didn't. Well, I thought Brandon Graham in the defensive end spot, they're always going to choose the guys with the higher sack totals. It's just that's how it always goes in the Pro Bowl. But Brandon Graham definitely deserved it. Kelce, I think there's a case to be made for him too.
I think. I'm trying to remember who made it. I think it was Everson Griffin, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Cam Jordan. So they have the sack totals. Brandon Graham doesn't. Brandon Graham, probably the best edge defender when it comes to stopping the run among the defensive line.
Yeah.
So I would have given him points for that, but
me too.
You get sacks. So that's what they do. That's how they vote. And then the center, I believe it was Unger and Frederick. So, whatever.
I think Brandon Graham definitely deserved it. I think there's a case to be made with Kelce too. No doubt about it.
Yeah. So the rest of their line, Larry Warford, the right guard. So he was good for the Lions like the first year or two, and then Warford kind of dropped off after that. But now that he's with the Saints, seems like he's resurrected his career, and then they got the first rounder out of Wisconsin, Ryan Ramczyk, as their right tackle. So pretty solid offensive line. I believe the matchup you got to exploit there is Andrew Speed on Timmy Jernigan. I think Timmy Jernigan could collapse the pocket a couple times. And Fletcher Cox, well, they're going to have to do that with Larry Warford. Deep penetration on basically any guard. It doesn't matter who it is. He's going to have deep penetration.
Even if they're married, it's going to be deep.
Even if they're married.
Especially if they're married.
Yeah. You want to talk about a prostate exam. Deep penetration. You're speechless.
What can you say? I mean, the guy does damage, internal damage.
Internal damage. I haven't said it in a couple of weeks.
I would say it too, but my throat hurts too much.
Yeah, actually, my throat hurts too. I shouldn't be doing that, but I am. I am. Yeah,
Yeah,
the jovial and fun Adrian has gone away for the last couple of weeks because Carson Wentz put him in depression, and the defense didn't make me feel better. So there hasn't been any deep penetrations from me. I'm sorry.
hey, look, it's been a hard few weeks with Carson's injury. It really is. It's still one of those things that bothers me. I always talk about Randall Cunningham injury. This is definitely bigger than that, and it's hard. It's very hard. I'm still hoping somehow, I don't know how, that he gets the MVP. It's a pipe dream, I know, but I'm praying. Antonio Brown went down, right? Brady hasn't looked that great. Russell Wilson hasn't looked that great. None of these guys look great since Carson hasn't been in. So I'm hoping, I'm praying, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I'll tell you what, it's not as big of a long shot as you might think. I don't think he gets the MVP, but because of what you just said, Antonio Brown got hurt. With Russell Wilson's last couple weeks, I think that kind of almost took him out of the equation. Brady's his competition. It's going to come down to him or Brady, I think.
Yeah.
I think Brady's going to get it.
Me too.
But, that's the way it is. It's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, I know.
Sucks. That dingbat.
I was hoping Pittsburgh.
That guy's got Giselle. He doesn't need any more trophies. He's got one for a while.
If Pittsburgh wins that game, Brady might have been out of it. It might have took him out of it if Pittsburgh wins that game. And the way they lost that game was horrible. I know the rules for that catch were the rules, but man, that was a touchdown.
See, all right, so here's the thing about that play. Because in terms of the rules, it's right. Because he didn't complete the process. He trusted the process. He didn't try. Actually, I fucked that up. But he didn't complete. Yeah, I was trying to make a joke. It didn't work in the fly. So he didn't complete the process because he didn't come up with the ball when he came up. Whatever. All right, I'm really butchering this now. But the reason why I think it's a touchdown, he caught the ball, and then when he reached over the goal line, it was a touchdown. It shouldn't matter what happened to the ball after that.
Behind you.
What about it? What's behind me?
Where'd the sticker go? Did it fall?
Oh, dude, it fell a long time ago.
What were you saying about that sticker?
It needs more sticky. Need some more Fletcher Cox deep penetration. I need sticky.
Needs Viagra, huh?
Oh, that's right.
Come on, I was trying to set you up with that now.
I forgot about the line.
I was trying to set you up, man.
Yeah, I forgot. My bad. My logo needs Viagra. It can't stay up. See? There it goes. Look. I can't even stay up for 2 seconds. I need a new logo with a lot of sticky.
Yes, we got to get you a new logo.
I need more than just Viagra.
I don't know what to say to that. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting run. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in these coming weeks for sure. I expect the seedings pretty much to end the way the top 4 are right now. I think that's how it's going to end. The Eagles 1, Minnesota 2, Rams 3, and the Saints 4. I think that'll be your 4. I think Dallas fans are delusional. They think that they're getting in. They're not getting in. I think Carolina, they'll get in, and Atlanta. I think there'll be 3 teams out of the South.
Yeah, it's starting to what's the word? It's playing itself out. We kind of see what's going to happen. So Rams are going to be the 3. It looks like Saints 4, Panthers 5, Falcons most likely 6. We'll see. I don't know how the tiebreakers are for the 6 lost teams, but the Falcons are a game ahead of those teams right now. They do play Carolina, I believe, week 17, so that'll determine whether or not they get in. But it's funny because the Falcons were the team I was like, all right, I was waiting for them to get hot. And they've played better, but not hot enough.
Yeah.
that I'm not scared. I'm not scared of them.
No,
so actually, that's the one team. That's the one team I'd probably want to play. Is the Falcons.
Yeah, I think the Falcons in Philly would be fine for the Eagles. That doesn't worry me. Really, there's only I think the Rams are a little bit of unknown. You don't know how Goff is going to play in the playoffs. I think the Rams would give us a really tough game in the second time they play us. So I would say my biggest fear would be the Saints, followed by the Rams. At 3, it would probably be Carolina, because Cam Newton can go off when Cam Newton wants to go off. So those would probably be my 3 biggest teams that I fear: Saints, Rams, and then Panthers, followed by Falcons and Minnesota last. Minnesota, I don't fear.
I'm probably in 100% agreement with you. Thinking about it, probably the Saints are the team I don't want to play. Then it's the Rams, but I feel like we could get after Goff. I don't think he handles pressure well.
Yeah,
and I just feel like I do feel like the defense will step up. I hope. That's maybe me more so than anything, but I don't know. I kind of feel like they got embarrassed by the Giants, and because I mean I get it's a rivalry, and I get that the Giants played well against them earlier in the season, but Roger Lewis, Tavares King were doing this to you. You had backups in it along the O-line. You couldn't get any pressure on Eli on 57 dropbacks, even though a lot of it was quick 3-step. Some of them weren't, and you still weren't getting pressure. So I'm sure they're watching the tape this week, and even what Sean Brace was telling me yesterday. So Sean, I guess he was in the locker room after the game, and these guys, every question was negative. Everything. They had won a game 34-29, yet you would have thought they lost by the line of questioning. And Sean was telling me, like, the athletes were all pissed off. Like, nobody wanted to answer questions, yada. And that to me is a good thing. I see that as a good thing, because they got a wake-up call. They needed that wake-up call. The last 3 games, I get that they were all on the road, but the missed tackles, we hadn't seen that all year. And the other concern with the tight ends and running backs. So those 2 areas need to get fixed up because a quick slant should not be taken to the house. Quick slants, earlier in the year, they were wrapped up for immediate tackles. Well, that's not happening now. So you clean up the missed tackles, you blitz a little bit more, D-line starts getting pressure again. You'll be okay in the playoffs, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, after the Seattle loss, Doug Peterson came out and specifically talked about missed tackles. So what do? They go out against the Rams, and they have missed tackles all over the place. Then they come out against the Giants, and they have missed tackles. So I feel like it's something that they can clean up and they can fix. Now, also, the other thing is, sometimes when you play an NFC division rival, sometimes it doesn't matter what the record is. It just is tight. It's just a tough game. It's just always that way. It's always been that way in the NFC East. So to have a close game against a stinky Giants team, it doesn't surprise me that much because I've seen this happen before in the NFC East. It just happens when it's a divisional opponent. But the concerning thing is the other 2 weeks. So how they respond, I'm curious to see, but they've got to fix this problem. I think they will, and I think it's fixable. I think it's something that they can fix. Now, also, Robinson's probably not going to play, right? He's in concussion protocol, right?
Yeah.
But I want Russell Douglas in there. I think he needs to play more. I like that kid a lot. Personally, I would like to see him become a safety because I think he could become an all-pro safety in this league. But I want to see Rasul in there because I think he's played very good this year.
All right, so you're saying something about the result not being surprising. I'll say this. So it was surprising, but it wasn't surprising that it was close. It was surprising because of the defense and the way they performed. If it was close and it was 20-17, that wouldn't have surprised me. If you get where I'm coming from. The fact that they allowed 29 points to that offense, 30th in the NFL. I get that they had success earlier in the season in the fourth quarter, but again, you didn't have Odell Beckham play. It was Sterling Shepard, really good receiver, but the rest of those guys, they're trash.
Yeah, I like Ingram too, but I think
I like Ingram, but he's not a receiver; he's a tight end.
Yeah, he's a tight end. But I agree. I agree with you. The way the defense played was not good. I get your point there.
Yeah. All right. What else do we want to get into? Well, we got into who we kind of don't want to play. Who would you want to play most then? Actually,
Minnesota. Minnesota. Give me Minnesota any day of the week. 7 days.
Even over Atlanta.
Yeah, because I think that's the one matchup where you can definitely go in and say that your quarterback is better than their quarterback, and I think that's fair. I think Casey Keenum, never having played in the playoffs before, right? I don't think he's ever played in the playoffs. I think he's a journeyman quarterback. I think when he gets to the playoffs, he's gonna get shut down. I think he may even lose round one. I think it'll come back and haunt them. So I do. I think Minnesota is the best team to play. Their defense is very good defense, good running game. But I think the Eagles would still beat them.
Yeah, the reason why I think we beat Minnesota is they run first to set up the pass. And if you're a run-first team, you're not beating Philly.
No.
Even though they have those weapons with McKinnon and Rudolph that might hurt the Eagles' defense the way it's been kind of structured without Hicks. But I feel like if they try to run the ball a lot, it's not going to go anywhere. And on 3rd and 11, when Case Keenum has to make the throw for a first down, he's not going to succeed. So I don't think that'll happen. Because if they get the ball out quick with quick slants and crossers, that would work. But on a 3rd and 10, you're going to get tackled before the sticks. Hopefully, because they haven't been tackled before the sticks lately.
Well, that's the key. That's the key. Yeah, we're assuming. Well, obviously, we're assuming that.
We're assuming that this defense is going to get better. That's why I'm so. The reason why I'm so pissed off this week is because our expectations of the defense, they had to take it up a notch, and for them to regress a week after Carson Wentz got hurt, that's not what we want to see.
That scared me. I mean, because when Carson went out against the Rams, the one thing that I felt good about was that the defense responded. So you were hoping that carried over in the Giants game, and it didn't. But hopefully they fix it this week against the Raiders. That's the big wait and see for me. If they come out, and even though the Raiders have their own problems, and they shut them down and they play good, I'll feel a lot better going into the playoffs than if the same thing happens.
Basically, against Minnesota, I think what would happen is you would get some turnovers against Keenum. So if you get turnovers against Keenum, what does that mean? That means you set up Nick Foles with short fields. Because I don't know if you can sustain drives against that defense, but if you do kind of what you did against the Giants, I mean, one of them was a blocked punt, obviously, not on defense, but you had Darby with an interception. So you set up Foles inside the red zone. Maybe you get a cheap touchdown and a field goal. You get 10 points out of that. All of a sudden, that's 10 points. It might even be good enough to win the damn game.
It might.
The Vikings, in some games, I mean, they don't always get to 20 points. So maybe even not even 14. So I don't know. I feel like you can hold Minnesota and limit them. It's going to be hard to score on them, though, obviously.
Yeah, it will. It will. But you're saying like short fields and that kind of thing will help. I think if Minnesota has to play from behind, they're in trouble. I think if they're playing from behind, they're in big trouble. And that's how I kind of think it would turn out. I think Casey Keenum coming into Philly, I think he would have turnovers. I think he would have a slow start. And I think Minnesota will find themselves playing from behind at some point in that game, and it would be too much for them. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he'll prove us wrong. I don't know. But that's kind of the sense I get with him.
Besides Minnesota, though, there's not really another defense that's, I'd say, great. Is there another defense that's great?
Not great. No. I don't think.
Maybe Carolina. Carolina's good. Carolina's got a good defense.
Good defense. I think Yeah, I think you can score in Carolina. I think you can score Atlanta. I think you can score in New Orleans. Um, the thing with New Orleans, obviously, is they can score back. You're going to have to score 30 points, in my opinion, to beat New Orleans. So yeah, Minnesota's defense is probably the best defense, and by a lot,
Oh, by
in
far.
this
Yeah.
NFC. So
In every
yeah,
area. They have the best D line. They have the best linebackers. They have the best secondary of any of these teams.
yeah. I have a feeling that they're going to have a hard time beating the Rams twice. I do. I think that the Minnesota is going to have a hard time in that game. They embarrassed the Rams in Minnesota. There was a blowout, right? I think the Rams are going to go in there and upset them. I would probably pick the Rams in that game.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I'll tell you what. I remember watching that game. It was 24-7. Vikings beat them, but the Rams had a couple opportunities where they drove inside the red zone and they turned the ball over. So that 24-7 scoreline could have been closer, but I kind of want to play Minnesota over the Rams. So let's go. Minnesota.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. I mean, look, you got to give the Rams credit. The way they went into Seattle and gave them
that's big time.
Beating.
That's big time.
That was big time response to losing a hard fought game against the Eagles. It really was. I was impressed with that. The Rams impressed me the way they beat the crap out of Seattle in Seattle. It was impressive. Gurley went off. Gurley is a stud, dude. Todd Gurley is a stud. When we talk about MVPs, that's a guy, maybe a long shot, but a dark horse that could get it there. Because he is something else. I'll tell you.
Well, he had 4 touchdowns, so that gets him quickly up the touchdown ranks right there.
Yeah.
Early right there. Yeah. So Panthers probably have the second best defense then. Yeah. The fact that there's not really a lot of good defenses is another reason why all of a sudden I'm more hopeful.
Yeah, like I said all along, even with Foles, I believe if the Eagles get home field, I think they have a really good shot. I think they'll end up in a Super Bowl. Now, what they do then, I'm not ready to say yet. I want to see how they play in the playoffs.
The Super Bowl, we don't think they have much of a chance.
It's going to be very hard to beat Tom Brady or Ben. It's a hard game. But I want to see, before I go and give a definite prediction on a Super Bowl, I want to see how they play in the playoffs. Maybe Foles will light it up and I'll feel a lot better. I don't know. But I want to see how they play in the playoffs. All I know right now is I believe that this team can go to the Super Bowl with home field. That's as far as I think. I haven't thought any more than that. And that's kind of where I'm staying until they get there. So,
yeah, Patriots. The reason why I think the Patriots will be very difficult is Gronk. And I talked about tight ends and running backs.
Yeah,
I mean the Patriots. That's what they do.
And Deion Lewis.
They throw their tight ends and running backs. Deion Lewis. I mean, as quick as the Patriots' offense is like the perfect recipe against this Eagles defense. That's how you want to combat them. Tom Brady. The Patriots might not even run the ball. It would be like the Giants. What the Giants did, like 57 passes.
Yeah.
Because Bill Belichick. That's how he game plans. He's a chameleon. He does something different every week. I think against the Eagles, he would exploit all the weaknesses. So the Patriots are the one team I definitely don't want to play. The Steelers, I think we'd have a shot. I don't think we'd win, but I think we'd have a shot. But the Pats, I'm kind of having a little difficulty.
Well, there's one sleeper team in the AFC, and you probably know who I'm talking about.
You like the Jags?
I think the Jags are a sleeper, scary team in the playoffs. I think they have the kind of defense that can go in and surprise somebody. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I just think that they're going to do damage in the playoffs. I mean, we'll see, but I think they can. I think they can do some damage. Maybe not get there, but I think they could take out one of those big teams. It wouldn't surprise me. If the Eagles had Carson Wentz right now, I would be saying right now that I think they could win the whole thing. I'm probably picking them to win the whole thing. With Foles, I want to see the playoffs. I want to see how he plays round 1 and round 2. And if they're impressive, then maybe I'll feel good enough to take them. I certainly don't want to bet against them or choose against them. But I just can't think about the Super Bowl right now. I can only think about getting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Carson Wentz, I think we beat the Pats.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I think you can match them score for score because that defense hasn't. I understand it's been better recently than it was at the beginning of the year, but it's still, I would say, it's top three worst. I don't think their defense is that good. And with Carson Wentz at the controls, I think you could score on them, and it would be a little bit more difficult for Brady to score against the Eagles defense. So I think you would have a shootout where the Eagles would prevail, like a
I agree.
crazy,
I
like
agree.
38-5, something crazy like that.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, I'm with you. I think they would beat them. I do. I think it would be a shootout. I think they would beat them. But look, here's the interesting thing. If we say the Eagles have to go into a Super Bowl situation and play the Patriots, and they have to match score for score. Well, if the Eagles play the Saints, they're going to have to do the same thing. So if somehow they go in and they match Drew Brees score for score, I think I might feel a lot better about their chances, with Nick Foles having seen it happen. So that's why I have to wait and see what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah, and even from an analytics standpoint, Football Outsiders, I believe they have the Patriots ranked 31st in defense.
Yeah.
So it's not like Malcolm Butler has regressed from last season. Stephon Gilmore has come in as a free agent, hasn't been like that great for them, and they don't pressure the quarterback that well.
Yeah.
So I think that's a defense you can combat against for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think they can. I think that even with Foles, they'll be able to score on them. The situation will be, can you score enough and can you play mistake free? No turnovers, no fumble, nothing stupid. It has to be perfect game. Because Brady will score a lot. He will score a lot.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you'd make a lot of mistakes against the Patriots. Let me look it up. Hold on. Let me look up and see how many turnovers they've forced. Maybe they have more than I think. I'm sure they make offenses one-dimensional, obviously. Let's see. Give and take orders. All right, I lied. New England's up there. Actually, no. Well, in terms of differential, they're good, but the reason why the differential is so good is because Tom Brady doesn't turn the ball over.
Well, Tom Brady's what I'm scared of.
Yeah. New England's 18th in takeaways, so it's not what it used to be. So yeah. I was right there. I was right. And let's see on sacks. Let's see if they can get after the quarterback. Let's see if my eyes are wrong there. New England is 18th in sacks as well with 31.
So they're a little below average is what they are.
Well, the Eagles also have 31 sacks in the season.
I wish the Eagles would blitz more.
Yeah, the Eagles need to blitz more. Well, the reason why the Eagles don't have as many sacks is teams' game plan against the Eagles defense.
Yeah. Well, look, if we go ahead.
I was just going to say the Eagles are number one in pressures according to Pro Football Focus.
That's that's good, unless you got a quarterback that can throw strikes under pressure.
Yeah,
then it don't matter, But I think, like I said, I'm hoping they win the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for them. I'm pushing. I'm hoping, but I'm not even predicting or thinking about that until they get there. I got to see this team play in the playoffs. 2 games. I get to see 2 games before I have to make that decision. I want to see how they look.
Yeah. So, Patriots defense is kind of weak, man. So,
yeah.
I still don't think we win, but you never know. You get to the Super Bowl, anything can happen.
Look, that's it. You get there and you take your best shot. You come out, you swing, you play aggressive. Maybe you do some things differently that they haven't seen or wouldn't expect. And you take your shot. I mean, it wouldn't be the biggest upset in the world if the Eagles beat them. It wouldn't be. It's not impossible. I don't want anybody to think that we're saying it's impossible. It's not impossible. They have a shot. But I've seen a team all year with Carson Wentz. I've seen one game with Nick Foles. I need to see this team more, in more games than just playing the Giants before I can give a prediction. So I want to see how they look in the playoffs.
The Patriots defense reminds me of like 2011. 2011, they were kind of trying to rebuild their defense, even though they were still winning games. They were like 30th or whatever. It's the same situation. And the Giants went and they beat them. They scored 21 in the Super Bowl and they beat them. Yeah. So because you had the situation last year, they traded Jamie Collins. They tried trading some of their players away. You know, they're coming up on contracts. So just when you get rid of talent, you're not going to be as talented.
Absolutely. You know, the whole key for the Eagles is to get that home field. Get that home field. Get that, you know, NFC Championship game in Philly. Play 2 good games in the playoffs. Then you know what? I'm sure that I'll feel pretty good about their chances against the Patriots or whoever.
I'm like looking at this defense now. I'm like, man, like, no one's gonna pressure Nick Foles. Who's bringing the heat on Nick Foles? Trey Flowers?
I think the part that scares me isn't that. The part that scares me is Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a guy who's been there 5 times.
I'm looking at it because I know we got a match score for score. So I don't think you can, but the defense is just not what they've been the last couple of years.
And you know what?
It's more like 2011. And 2011, I'd say 2011 was probably worse, but this isn't that far behind.
No, and maybe there's a case to be made that they'll get tossed before they even get there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, who knows? Maybe the Giants show up and they beat them in New England.
I mean,
who knows?
Who knows? The Jags have one good defense, so who knows? I mean, Pittsburgh, I thought should have won that game. They may get another chance against New England and do it. So that the AFC, we don't know how it's going to turn out yet. We got to see who we match up. We got to see 2 playoff games in the NFC, and then we'll see where this team is. We'll know a lot more by then, you know.
Yeah. All right. That's about it, right?
Yeah.
I kept you hostage. You said keep it to 30 because your throat felt sore, and it's like 40. So sorry.
That's all right. No, that's all right. It was fun. I had fun.
It was fun. And I'm feeling a little bit better, you know, after Seattle lost. So that really to me like opened up my hopes again, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to play Seattle at all. Now I don't want to play the Saints either. It's looking like we may have to play them, but dude, for a little while it was looking like it was going to be possibly the Seattle Seahawks divisional round, a team that we can't beat. So glad
I felt good. As soon as we got that bye week, I started to feel good because to me, that was the key. And now, you know, just get that home field. I mean, to me, that's the whole thing. I think that's half of the battle right there. If you can get home field, you're going to keep Foles in a home friendly environment. I think they're going to beat everybody in the NFC if they're playing at home. I really do.
Yeah. I agree. Except the Saints. Saints are the only team.
Saints are a tough game.
I don't know if I'd go as far to pick the Saints when I do my preview video because I don't know if I want to pick them. But I just don't want. I don't know. I don't like Drew Brees playing them.
I think that game would be a harder game than the NFC Championship game the next week. I'll say that. I think
any divisional game I think is going to be harder than having to play Minnesota.
Yeah.
But we may not have to play Minnesota. It might be somebody else.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Rams. I think it'll be the Eagles and the Rams in the NFC Championship game. That's what I think it's going to be.
Jared Goff versus Nick Foles.
And I think the Eagles will win. And you know, and I think that home field advantage will play a big part of it. I really do.
Yeah. All right. So that wraps it up. Oh, we didn't do Dingbat of the Week.
Oh, I don't even
have one. I can't even think of a dingbat.
I'm gonna say Dingbat Claus. He's my dingbat. He's running around my house somewhere. I don't know where he is, but he's my dingbat of the week.
Whoever the official was that busted out an index card.
Oh my God! Yes. Oh my God! Yes. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was only a Dallas Cowboys situation would have Jerry Jones credit card with that
index cards.
I think that was a Jerry Jones credit card, man. That was ridiculous.
It was funny because after the game, the Cowboys tweeted out. They said, the player of the game was this piece of paper, and I tweeted back and I was like, "Says a lot about the team when the best player is an index card."
Yeah, really, that's true. You know what? Not only thing about, but all the Cowboy fans out there that have been contacting me, and probably all the other Eagle fans saying that the Cowboys are going to beat the Eagles in the playoffs now are dingbats. Those are perfect things because they think they're getting in. They think they're going to make a run, and they're not even going to get in the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't think Cowboys are getting in. They're done.
No, they're done.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Enjoy the off season, Cowboys.
That's
happening. And even if they got into the playoffs, I would love to play Dak Prescott. Freaking great headlights. Please give me him.
Oh, that would be great. To beat the Cowboys in the playoffs again and just have that over them all year. Well, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. They do not scare me. The one team in the league that does not scare me is the Dallas Cowboys. They stink.
Yeah. Stink. There you go. All right. That's Philly 500. I am Adrian Fedque. We're out of here, guys. Enjoy Christmas.
Peace.
Happy holidays. I need some more sticky for my logo. I need more sticky. More sticky. We're out.